All right, I'm now ready to work on my grass, and I'm going to be using similar greens to what I was using with the trees. Um, One of the most important things about drawing grass is remembering that as you get closer to the vanishing point, just like the trees, the blades of grass will actually get smaller. They will also be a little bit hazier, a little bit lighter. So I'm going to ease up on my pressure as I move towards the vanishing point. So I'm going to start with my darker value of green. And I'm going to go ahead and just start drawing blades of grass. And again, these blades of grass should be quite large. And of course, as I get closer to my vanishing point, they are going to get much smaller. So I'm going to start with just my darkest value here. And then I'm sort of, as I get closer to my vanishing point, like I mentioned, I'm just going to sort of lighten up on my pressure to make it look like you can't see the grass as well. And I'm also making the little blades much smaller. I'm going to go and find another value of green, and I'm going to start building in some of this next value. And again, since I'm getting closer to my vanishing point, even all the way over here, I'm lightening up on my pressure and I'm making my blades of grass a little bit shorter. Now this is again just one way to do grass. There are a variety of different ways, and you're welcome to experiment with some of your own in your sketchbook, on a blank scrap piece of paper, just to see which way that you like doing it. Now, of course, as I'm going along, I sort of take a step back after each little section and look at what I'm happy with and what I'm not happy with. Just like I did with the trees, as I went along, nothing is set in stone here. I can really take my time and change things as I go. It does not have to be the way that I sort of intended when I began. That's part of being an artist. You really have to be okay with making changes and making mistakes and then trying to turn them into something beautiful. It does not have to be something that you necessarily throw out. So hopefully you can see that we're starting to have a nice little area of grass. It's starting to look like real grass. It's getting much lighter and faded as it gets higher towards the horizon line and closer to the vanishing point. So I'm just going to continue filling in all of my little blades here. I'm getting pretty happy with how it's starting to look. I'm going to have to fill in a lot of these white areas. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use one of my shades of green, and I'm just going to very, very lightly shade over everything I've done. And what that should do is fill in a lot of the white areas that are sort of left blank because of the lighter pressure and because of the smaller blades of grass. It's sort of filling in that area. And as I get closer to the foreground, I can fill those in with actual thicker, harder pressured brush strokes or pencil strokes. And then I can even add some of that shading in here just to fill in some of those white spots, because we really don't want to see the white spots in this drawing unless it was some sort of ice rink that needed white, or snow perhaps. So you can see for the most part I'm also shading in the same direction as I go, other than with the blades of grass, because some of them are sort of straying in different directions, which is fine. But you really want to practice the shading in one direction to make sure that it looks neat. Neatness is a large part of your mark for this project. For the most part it counts in terms of using a ruler, but it does count for shading as well. So as I get closer to the road, I'm pressing a little harder with this pencil crayon here. All right, right, so I'm pretty happy with the grass so far. I may actually go in and add just a couple more values just to make it look a little more realistic. Again, grass, just like trees, is another area where you might even add a little bit of yellow in, especially depending on the season. Now that it's hopefully kind of spring, we do start to see bits of yellow coming around, whether they're daffodils or just reflections or different sort of shades of green that are closer to yellow. So I'm pretty happy here. I may later come back and add some more if I feel like I need it. But for now, that's pretty good. So that's how I do my grass.